This is my Monstera rhaphidophora, or mini Monstera plant, and it's been growing for like 2 years now, and it's got tendrils that trail all the way from this direction upwards, and then all the way from the original plant, where I've had to stake it up to the top of my cabinet. But I don't like my plants when they get this viney, because they don't grow in a uniform way, so I like to cut them back at the base and try to get the plant to grow directly from the base out in like a thicker, denser way. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is what it looks like all laid out. So let's see, pot, and then it trails out in two places, in two distinct vines, all the way down to the end of the table. And here towards the end, where it wasn't getting as much sunlight because it was up pressed towards the cabinet, you can tell there aren't any leaves growing. So that's going to just get completely cut off. But I'm going to cut all of these, or not all of these, but both of these major stems. I'm going to cut them all the way at the base. I have located the two stems. I'm going to cut right here and right here. And this one is already a baby plant that's already developed. So this is what I have now. And this, a couple of years ago, would have been terrifying for me to do. But now, since I've had so many plants grow to this length, and I see how ununiform they grow, and how these leaves down here start to get damaged, and they're just not very space efficient inside of my house, it's something I prefer to do. And this is what you have left, which this is a baby plant that's already pretty well established, so that's good. But this main stem here, you'll have offshoots that are going to grow from this, and they'll grow completely new plants. Plus, there's still one leaf, which is established right here, which will grow. So this is a pretty good start. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go between each one of these nodes and cut just a small section. And that's where the new plants will get rooted and established from. Just small sections, no bigger than this. With the exception of this end part, which got leggy and didn't get any sunlight from being in the window, this part just all gets chopped off. And I like to mention that I like to go through this process during the winter because it allows plenty of time for a plant that spent all of its time out summer growing and thriving to then have this period of time to get cut back and to have plenty of a chance to root and be repotted and arranged before the new growing season arrives. This is what the cuttings are supposed to look like. They're supposed to have a node and a little bit of stem between, because when you go to arrange these, you're going to want a little bit of something to keep it stable. But also, you have to have it. Some of them already have aerial roots growing, and the one on this one is huge. And I don't know if that's going to revive when I put it in the water, or if a completely new root will grow. But that is one of the interesting things about vining plants that grow for a very long time, is that they put out all kinds of aerial roots. Some of them, it's just going to be a smaller node, and some of them, they're going to be sizable roots. So that's what the pile looks like after I've done all the butchering. Now I'm going to go about to arrange them in a more uniform manner. Then when I've collected a decent bouquet, which I don't want it to be too full because the roots will get all tangled up and they won't want to come out of the vessel very well, I'm going to get my propagation vessel, which for me is just an empty pickle jar. And I pretty much always use empty pickle jars unless I have a vase on hand. But most of the time it's just these. And they work pretty well. So I'm going to take my plant pieces and just put them in this jar. And you want to make sure they're all down in there. And then you're going to fill it up with water and set it someplace sunny. I like to mention this is also a good time to be able to check your plants out for pests, because when you're going over them leaf by leaf by leaf, you're going to catch a lot of things that maybe you might have missed, but also it's a lot easier to treat them when they're single leaves, if that was what you wanted to do, because these plants were outside all summer and I didn't find any signs of any pests, but this time would be a good time to find them if they were there. Now I'm just going to fill my vessels up. I have 2 here, and I have 1 piece that's left over that I'm going to put in its own little thing, because it's such a tender plant, because it was the leaf that was growing at the very end of the plant. I filled it up to about that level. Now these cuttings are going to go into a sunny spot until they get some roots, which is probably going to take a couple of months, probably about a month and a half. But I have another one that I started several months ago. It might have been the beginning of the summer, which has roots. This one here is a baby Monstera, baby mini Monstera. And this one has been established for a while now. It was outside, and some of the roly-polies got to it, but they're gone now. But it's established, and it's doing wonderfully, as you can see. But now I just have a mess to clean up and the original plant to get put back, and that's all there is to it.